Have you ever been caught off guard by someone's cruelty, betrayed, mocked, or deliberately hurt, and wondered why it struck so deeply? What if I told you their behavior was never truly about you, but rather a reflection of their own hidden darkness? In this video, we'll explore Carl Jung's profound insights to uncover why people intentionally hurt others, and more importantly, how you can turn their negativity into personal strength. Through real-life examples and Jung's timeless wisdom, you'll learn 5 powerful ways to heal, rise, and thrive, making those who hurt you regret their actions, not through revenge, but through your unstoppable growth. Stay until the end to discover how to transform pain into strength, and don't forget to share your story in the comments below. Let's begin. Picture this. You're at work, fully invested in a project, when a colleague, someone you trust, publicly calls out a mistake you didn't even make. Their words sting, sharp and deliberate. The room falls silent, and all eyes turn toward you. Your heart sinks. It feels personal, like a direct attack on your worth. But here's the truth. Carl Jung would remind you that their cruelty isn't really about you. It's a glimpse into their own unacknowledged darkness. What Jung called the shadow in this chapter, we'll explore why people hurt others on purpose, how cruelty exposes the hidden corners of their psyche, and how understanding this can help you stop taking their actions personally. Carl Jung, the legendary Swiss psychologist, taught that the shadow represents the parts of ourselves we refuse to face, the fears, insecurities, and flaws we bury because they're too painful to acknowledge. Yet the shadow doesn't stay silent. When ignored, it speaks through destructive behavior, acts of cruelty, manipulation, or humiliation. When someone lashes out, they're not merely attacking you. They're projecting their inner chaos onto you. It's as if they're holding a mirror to their unresolved pain. But instead of looking into it, they push it toward you. That's why cruelty feels so personal, even though it rarely is. You simply become the canvas for their unhealed wounds. Let's ground this idea in a story. Meet Sarah, a creative woman in her 30s who loved sharing her ideas with her best friend, Lisa. Sarah believed they were partners in growth until Lisa began making snide remarks about Sarah's ambitions, calling them unrealistic and mocking her in front of others. Over time, Lisa's comments became sharper, more deliberate, leaving Sarah doubting herself. What Sarah didn't realize was that Lisa's cruelty stemmed from her own insecurities. Lisa envied Sarah's confidence and creativity, qualities she couldn't accept within herself. Instead of confronting her feelings of inadequacy, she projected them onto Sarah, trying to dull her shine, to feel better about her own darkness. Jung would call Lisa's behavior a classic example of the shadow in action. Cruelty is the outward expression of the shadow, a sign that someone refuses to face their inner fears and instead releases them on others. Every harsh word, every calculated insult, is a confession of what the person cannot confront within themselves. The co-worker who humiliated you may secretly fear being exposed as incompetent. The friend who betrays your trust might be battling jealousy they can't admit. The manipulator who twists your words could be running from their own sense of powerlessness. Cruelty is never random. It's a symptom of an unbalanced inner world. Here's the fascinating part: the people who hurt. You often recognize something in you that threatens their shadow. It could be your authenticity, your strength, or even your vulnerability, traits they've buried deep within themselves. Jung believed that the shadow envies what it cannot possess. So when someone attacks you, they're unconsciously trying to destroy the very qualities they wish they could embody. This is why cruelty often targets the brightest, the most authentic, those who truly shine. It's not because you're weak. It's because your light reveals their darkness. Their cruelty acts both as an attack and as a confession, a desperate effort to avoid confronting their own truth, but recognizing this isn't just about understanding the one who hurt you, it's about reclaiming your own strength. When you start seeing cruelty as a mirror of their shadow, you stop internalizing it. Their insults, betrayal, and manipulation aren't proof of your flaws. They're signs of their refusal to face their inner wounds, the very ones Jung spoke of. This change in perception is freeing. Instead of accepting their projections as truth, you begin to see them for what they are, cries from an unhealed psyche. You become the observer, not the victim. Take Sarah, for example. After months of enduring Lisa's hurtful remarks, Sarah came across Jung's teachings and recognized a pattern. She realized Lisa's cruelty had little to do with her. It was driven by Lisa's unacknowledged envy. The discovery didn't erase the pain, but it gave Sarah a new understanding. She stopped doubting her worth and began asking, "What is Lisa hiding from?" That single question changed everything. It allowed her to step back, stop personalizing Lisa's behavior, and focus on her own growth. By recognizing the shadow, Sarah took her first real step toward healing. Jung's insight is simple, yet profound. Cruelty reveals, it doesn't define. It exposes the inner conflict of the one who harms you, not your value as a person. But it also offers something powerful, a chance to see through the illusion of their control. Their actions don't define you. They define them. And when you understand this, you begin to detach from their story and start writing your own. Key takeaway: cruelty is never about your worth. It's about their shadow. When someone deliberately hurts you, they're exposing their unhealed pain, projecting their insecurities onto you. Through Jung's lens, you can stop carrying their burden and start reclaiming your own power. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to practice conscious detachment, how to step away from manipulation without losing yourself. Stay with us, because this is where their cruelty begins to transform into your strength. Now, imagine this. Your boss sends a harsh email, criticizing your work in front of the whole team, their words dripping with contempt. You feel your chest tighten, the urge to defend yourself rising. But what if, instead of reacting, you stepped back? Not from weakness, but from deliberate strength. This is the essence of conscious detachment, a concept rooted in Carl Jung's wisdom. It allows you to break free from the emotional traps others set for you. In this chapter, we'll uncover how to stop letting cruelty dictate your reactions, how to protect your peace, and how to reclaim your power by refusing to play their game. Jung reminds us that our reactions often emerge from unexamined parts of ourselves. Our triggers, our wounds, our hunger for validation. When someone deliberately causes pain, through insults, betrayal, or manipulation, they rely on your reaction. They crave your anger, your tears, your defense, because your emotional response gives them power. They thrive on pulling your strings, knowing they've gotten under your skin. But conscious detachment changes the dynamic. It's not about denying pain or pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about refusing to let their cruelty govern your inner world. It's about saying, "My peace is mine, and you can't have it." Let's look at a real example. Meet James, a graphic designer in his late 20s who worked under a toxic manager named Karen. She often belittled him in meetings, questioning his talent in front of others with a smug grin, daring him to react. At first, James fought back, spending hours crafting perfect responses, only to end up drained and defeated. The more he engaged, the stronger Karen's control became. Then James encountered Jung's concept of conscious detachment. Instead of reacting, he began observing Karen as though studying a specimen under a microscope. He noticed her cutting remarks often followed criticism from her own boss. Suddenly it clicked. Her cruelty wasn't about James at all. It was her way of avoiding her own insecurity. This shift in perspective changed everything for James. He began pausing before reacting, taking a deep breath and asking himself, "Is this worth my energy?" Most of the time, it wasn't. By refusing to engage in Karen's drama, he stopped giving her the reaction she desired. Gradually, her attacks lost their effect. Her frustration grew as her insults no longer landed. James's calm detachment stripped her of the power she sought. He wasn't avoiding her. He was choosing to protect his energy for what truly mattered, his creativity, growth, and peace. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey toward becoming your true, whole self, connects deeply with the idea of conscious detachment. To detach consciously, you must first understand your own triggers. What makes you react? Is it the fear of seeming inadequate, the desire to be liked, or the pain of rejection? These are the weak points others exploit to hurt you. Jung taught that by bringing these triggers into awareness, you reduce their control over you. You begin to realize that the anger or pain you feel isn't created by someone else. It's awakened within you. That pause, that single moment of awareness, is where your real power lies. It's the space where you decide, I won't let their cruelty drag me into their chaos. Here's how conscious detachment works in practice. Imagine a friend spreads a rumor about you, knowing it will cause pain. Your instinct might be to confront them, demand answers, or dwell in resentment. But conscious detachment invites you to pause and observe. What are they trying to achieve? Are they projecting their own guilt or insecurity? When you recognize their behavior as a reflection of their inner struggle, you can choose not to take it personally. Instead of lashing out, you might respond calmly with curiosity, or even choose silence, redirecting your energy towards something positive, a new project, a workout, or time with people who uplift you. This isn't avoidance, it's an intentional choice to protect your inner peace. The beauty of conscious detachment is that it's not merely a shield, it's a quiet act of rebellion. By refusing to react, you deny the person who hurt you the satisfaction of control. They expect you to crumble, to chase their validation, or to fight back. But when you don't, their power fades. Jung would say this aligns with integrating your shadow, facing your own pain instead of projecting it outward. You break the cycle of reactivity. You become the one in control, not because you dominate others, but because you've mastered yourself. Let's be clear, detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. You still feel the sting of betrayal, the weight of harsh words, but you don't let those emotions dictate your behavior. You acknowledge them, feel them, and allow them to pass. That's the essence of conscious detachment, not suppressing emotions, but choosing your response. In James's case, he still felt frustration when Karen attacked him, but he stopped letting it shape his day. He redirected his focus toward his designs, earning praise from clients and expanding his portfolio. Karen's cruelty lost its relevance, not because James stopped caring, but because he stopped giving her control. The takeaway: conscious detachment is your path to reclaiming power from those who hurt you. By pausing, observing, and refusing to engage in their manipulation, you protect your peace and deny them the reaction they seek. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that true strength lies in mastering your inner world, not in winning external battles. In the next chapter, we'll explore silent strength, how staying calm and composed can unsettle those who try to bring you down. Stay with us, because this is where you begin to build a strength they cannot touch. Have you ever noticed that the loudest person in the room is often the most insecure? They shout, accuse, and use sharp words to dominate, hoping their noise will drown out their own doubts. But what if real strength isn't loud? What if true power lies in remaining calm, composed, and unshaken when someone tries to bring you down? This is the heart of silent strength, a concept Carl Jung described as a quiet rebellion against cruelty. In this chapter, we'll explore how composure can become your greatest form of defense, how maintaining calmness disarms those who seek to hurt you, and how this quiet power reflects Jung's vision of inner resilience. Jung believed genuine strength comes from self-knowledge, aligning with your authentic self instead of chasing external approval. When someone attacks you through insults, humiliation, or betrayal, they expect a reaction. They want you to lash out, defend yourself, or crumble. Your reaction validates their control. But silent strength reverses that dynamic. It's the calm gaze that unsettles them, the steady presence that won't be shaken, the quiet resolve that says, "You don't control me." By choosing composure over chaos, You strip them of the power they crave and force them to face their own unresolved darkness. Let's illustrate this with a story. Meet Emily, a 35-year-old teacher constantly criticized by her mother-in-law, Diane. At every family gathering, Diane would make subtle but cruel remarks about Emily's job, parenting and appearance, always with a fake smile hiding her hostility. Initially, Emily would respond defensively, arguing and trading sharp words. Yet each time she left feeling exhausted and diminished. Her reactions only fueled Diane's sense of control. Then, inspired by Jung's ideas, Emily decided to try something new: silence. The next time Diane made a cutting remark, Emily simply smiled, nodded, and changed the subject. No anger, no defense, just calm presence. Diane's smirk faded. Without Emily's reaction, her cruelty had nowhere to land. Over time, Diane's attacks weakened, her words losing their sting. As Emily's quiet strength revealed the emptiness behind them. Silent strength isn't about burying your emotions or pretending the pain isn't real. It's about directing your energy inward, choosing how and when to respond rather than reacting out of impulse. Jung's concept of individuation, the process of integrating every part of yourself, including your shadow, shows that composure comes from self-awareness. When you know your worth, you don't need to prove it. You don't need to argue to validate your value. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting the attacker's insecurities back at them. They expect chaos, but your calm presence forces them to confront the hollowness of their own behavior. Here's how silent strength applies in real life. Imagine a coworker who subtly undermines you during meetings, dropping small insults to make you look weak. Your instinct may be to retaliate, but silent strength encourages restraint. Instead of engaging, you stay focused. Let your performance speak louder than your words. Over time, their attempts begin to look desperate, their comments falling flat against your calm confidence. By refusing to be drawn into their drama, you conserve your energy and allow their own actions to expose them. Jung would say, this is the essence of being aligned with your true self. You don't have to fight every battle because you're already grounded in who you are. Silent strength also changes how others see you. When you respond to hostility with composure, you project authenticity and quiet confidence. People take notice. They see someone who doesn't crumble under pressure or seek approval through reaction. Your calmness becomes your authority. This quiet power unsettles those who depend on noise to feel powerful. In Emily's case, her family began to admire her composure. Her husband noticed how Diane's constant jabs appeared petty compared to Emily's quiet confidence. Even Diane, though she'd never admit it, started to back off. Her words lost their sting because Emily refused to react. This kind of strength is born from endurance. Jung taught that the journey to wholeness means facing life's challenges with resilience, not by overpowering others, but by standing firm within yourself. Silent strength is the discipline to keep moving forward despite pain, to hold your ground without needing attention, to let your actions speak louder than words. It's not about winning arguments. It's about protecting your inner peace. When you embody this kind of strength, those who try to harm you are left to face their own unresolved darkness. Their attempts to diminish you fade into insignificance. Let's be clear, silent strength isn't passivity. It's not about tolerating cruelty or allowing others to step over you. It's about choosing your battles wisely, responding from clarity, not emotion. When you act from a place of silent strength, your actions carry true weight. A single calm response, delivered with confidence, can be far more powerful than a dozen heated exchanges. In Emily's case, when she finally spoke to Diane, it wasn't with anger. It was with quiet resolve. I respect your opinion, but I'm proud of who I am. That simple statement, rooted in self-assurance, left Diane speechless. It wasn't loud, but it was unshakable. So what's the takeaway? Silent strength is the ability to remain composed when others try to break you, to let your calm presence disarm their hostility. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that real power doesn't shout. It radiates from within, grounded in self-awareness and resilience. By refusing to react, you force those who harm you to face their own shadows, while you conserve your energy for what truly matters. In the next chapter, we'll explore integrity, how staying true to your values can shield you from cruelty and build an unbreakable foundation. Stay with us, because this is where you begin to craft a life they can't touch. What happens when someone tries to tear you down, to make you question your worth? Their actions are meant to pull you away from your truth, to shake your confidence. But within you lies a force, steady and unyielding, that refuses to compromise your integrity. Carl Jung taught that integrity isn't just doing what's right. It's about staying whole. It's aligning your words, actions, and values with the deepest parts of who you are. In this chapter, we'll see how living with integrity shields you from cruelty, anchors you in authenticity, and builds a foundation no one can destroy. When you stay true to your core, you don't just survive, you thrive. Jung's philosophy centers on individuation, the lifelong process of integrating all aspects of yourself, both light and shadow, into one cohesive whole. Integrity is the backbone of that journey. It's the commitment to live by your truth, even when it's difficult, even when it costs you, when someone intentionally hurts you through betrayal, mockery, or manipulation. They're often trying to fracture your sense of self. They want you to betray your own values, to act out of character, to fit their narrative. But integrity means refusing to give them that power. It's the quiet determination to stay true to yourself, no matter what. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Alex, a 40-year-old small business owner who faced pressure from industry peers to cut corners on a major project. They mocked his ethical standards, calling him naive and outdated, even sending a group chat about it that accidentally reached him. The sting of their words was real. Alex felt isolated and tempted to go along with their shady practices just to belong. But something within him resisted. Inspired by Jung's teachings, Alex realized that compromising his values would mean betraying himself. So he doubled down on integrity, delivering a project that was honest, high quality, and aligned with his vision. His peers' mockery faded when clients praised his work. Alex's business grew stronger than ever. By staying true to his principles, he not only protected his peace, but built a reputation his critics couldn't touch. Integrity, in Jung's view, is wholeness. It's ensuring your words match your actions reflect your values, and your values align with your authentic self. When you live this way, you eliminate the inner conflict that cruelty tries to exploit. Those who wish to hurt you often depend on your insecurities, hoping you'll abandon your principles to gain approval or escape criticism. But when you're grounded in integrity, their influence loses its power. They can't manipulate someone who doesn't need their validation. They can't break someone who is whole within. Here's how integrity looks in practice. Imagine a friend who constantly belittles your dreams, calling them unrealistic to make themselves feel superior. The urge to agree or shrink your ambitions can feel strong, but integrity means holding firm to your truth. You might calmly respond, "I appreciate your view, but I believe in my path." Or you might stay silent, letting your actions, persistence, and results speak for you. Either way, you're not bending to their story. You're honoring your inner voice that knows your worth. Jung would say, this is how you integrate your shadow, by recognizing the temptation to compromise, yet choosing authenticity instead. Integrity also reshapes how you connect with others. When you live authentically, people sense it. Your honesty and refusal to play games create a ripple effect. It attracts those who value truth and repels those who thrive on manipulation. In Alex's case, his unwavering commitment to integrity not only earned him his clients' respect, but also inspired his team to adopt the same principles. Alex's peers, who once mocked him, eventually found themselves pushed aside as their shortcuts led to downfall and scandal. Integrity became Alex's armor, his lasting legacy. He proved that staying true to oneself holds far more power than chasing fleeting approval. But integrity is never easy. It demands courage to uphold your principles even when the world or someone's cruelty tempts you to surrender them. Carl Jung once said, "The shadow within us often lures us towards self-betrayal, encouraging us to take the path of least resistance. Yet each time you choose integrity, you fortify your inner core. You shape a self that no longer depends on others' validation, a self resilient enough to endure any storm." When you live with integrity, cruelty becomes like rain hitting a solid roof. It may create noise, but it never seeps inside. This idea ties closely to Jung's concept of confronting the shadow. When you hold fast to your values, you're acknowledging your fears and flaws without letting them dominate you. Those who inflict pain might be projecting their unresolved darkness onto you. But by staying aligned with your truth, you reveal that you're doing the inner work they refuse to face. This contrast is powerful. It exposes their fragility while emphasizing your strength. Your integrity becomes a mirror, reflecting their hidden conflicts back at them. So what's the lesson here? Integrity is your anchor when cruelty attempts to derail you. By remaining grounded in your principles, you safeguard your peace, build an unshakable foundation, and live in harmony with your authentic self. Jung's wisdom reminds us that integrity transcends morality. It's about wholeness, about refusing to let others' malice fracture your being. In the next chapter, we'll explore transformation, how to convert the pain of cruelty into the very energy that fuels your greatest evolution, making those who wronged you regret it, not through revenge, but through your unstoppable rise. Stay with us, because this is where you turn their poison into your power. What's the most powerful response when someone deliberately hurts you? It's not anger, retaliation, or the need to prove them wrong. The truest, most profound response is transformation, turning their cruelty into the driving force that strengthens, enlightens, and refines you. Jung's philosophy shows that pain, when faced with courage, becomes the seed of your highest growth. In this final chapter, we'll explore how to transform wounds of betrayal, ridicule, or manipulation into the foundation of your empowerment. This is the ultimate form of revenge, not through harm but through triumph. You rise in ways they never foresaw, leaving their cruelty powerless. Jung's idea of individuation, the journey to becoming your whole, authentic self, teaches that every challenge, even pain, offers growth. When someone hurts you intentionally, they expect you to remain broken, defined by their betrayal, trapped in the story they wrote for you. Transformation flips that script. It's the act of taking their poison and transforming it into medicine, using their cruelty as the spark for your personal revolution. Through this process, you don't just heal, you transcend. You prove that their attempt to break you became the very thing that made you unstoppable. Let's bring this idea to life. Meet Mia, a 28-year-old aspiring writer who fell for a man who seemed perfect until he wasn't. After a year together, her partner Ethan betrayed her trust, cheating and then blaming her, saying she wasn't enough. The heartbreak was devastating. Mia's confidence shattered, her dreams of writing fading as she questioned her worth. Then she discovered Jung's teachings on transformation. Instead of letting betrayal define her, Mia turned her pain into creative fire. She poured her emotions into her writing, crafting stories filled with raw authenticity. 2 years later, she published her first book, a profound exploration of heartbreak and healing that deeply resonated with readers. When Ethan saw her success, he reached out, expecting the same broken woman he left behind. Instead, he found someone who had turned her pain into power, her wounds into wisdom. Mia's triumph wasn't about revenge. It was about becoming unstoppable. Transformation begins with confronting pain directly. Jung taught that denying or escaping your wounds only strengthens their grip. When someone hurts you, the instinct is to bury the pain or lash out. But true growth comes when you face it with courage. That's where transformation begins, and where your greatest rise unfolds. Transformation begins when you acknowledge your wounds, without allowing them to consume you. It's about sitting with your anger, grief, and sense of betrayal, and asking, what lesson lies here for me? For Mia, it meant realizing that Ethan's cruelty reflected his own unresolved darkness, not her worth. By understanding this, she stopped absorbing his behavior and began channeling that pain into growth. Her suffering became her mentor, guiding her toward deeper self-awareness and creative expression. This journey isn't easy, but it's profoundly empowering. Transformation turns anger into clarity, teaching you where your boundaries belong. It transforms grief into wisdom, helping you see what truly matters. And it converts betrayal into resilience, showing you how to trust yourself when others fail you. Jung described this as the process of integrating the shadow, taking the dark and painful parts of your story and weaving them into your evolution. Every scar becomes a symbol, not of loss, but of survival and strength. Those who hurt you expect your scars to define your downfall. Transformation turns them into emblems of triumph, proof that you rose above. The beauty of transformation lies in how it reclaims power. Cruelty seeks to control, to shrink you, to keep you tied to your pain. But once you transform, that tether breaks. You demonstrate that their actions couldn't define you, that their attempt to dim your light only made it shine brighter. That's what makes transformation the most powerful form of revenge. Not because you strike back, but because your growth makes their cruelty meaningless. In Mia's case, her success didn't just surprise Ethan. It revealed his weakness. He expected her to stay broken, yet she evolved into a force beyond his reach. Transformation also radiates outward. When you rise stronger than before, you inspire others to do the same. Your journey becomes a beacon, reminding others that cruelty never has the final say. Jung believed that an individuated self, the one that has embraced its shadows, emanates authenticity capable of changing the world. Mia's book didn't just heal her. It touched readers who recognized their own struggles in her words. Her transformation became a quiet defiance against the idea that cruelty wins, proving that pain can spark something extraordinary. So, what's the core message? Transformation is the ultimate revenge, because it turns the pain of cruelty into the energy for your greatest evolution. Carl Jung's insight teaches us that by facing your wounds and allowing them to shape your growth, you rewrite the narrative others tried to impose on you. You don't merely survive, you thrive, becoming a version of yourself so powerful that those who hurt you are left only with regret. As we close, we'll move to the outro, where we'll show you how to begin your own journey of transformation. Stay with us, because your evolution starts now. You've just walked through a path inspired by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, learning how to transform cruelty into strength. From recognizing that harsh actions reflect the other's shadow, to practicing conscious detachment, quiet strength, and unwavering integrity, you now hold the tools to rise beyond anyone's attempt to break you. This isn't just about surviving cruelty. It's about thriving in a way that renders it irrelevant. You are not defined by betrayal, mockery, or malice. You're defined by the unstoppable force you become when you choose growth over resentment. Jung reminded us that the road to wholeness, individuation, isn't about avoiding pain, but using it as a teacher. Every wound and every hurt is an invitation to know yourself more deeply, to stand taller, and to become more authentically you. Those who hurt you may have tried to write your ending, but you're crafting a new chapter, one where their cruelty becomes the spark that ignites your transformation. Let their regret be proof that they misjudged your strength. Let your rise show that no one can dim your light when you choose to shine. Now it's your turn. Apply these lessons today. Pause before reacting. Stay aligned with your values and let every scar drive your growth. We'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment below and share which idea resonated most, or tell us about a moment when you turned pain into power. Your words might inspire someone else on their path. If this message spoke to you, hit like, subscribe to Jung's Psyche Hub, and ring the bell to join us for more weekly insights into Carl Jung's wisdom. Share this video with someone who needs this reminder, because together We're building a community of growth, resilience, and authenticity. Thank you for watching, and remember, your greatest revenge is becoming unstoppable. See you in the next video.